All right, go ahead.
Hey, Christine. Hello and welcome. Thank you for participating, being involved, and for sharing. I want to thank the Cellercise family for all of your support. It means a great deal and continues to have a great influence in the lives of so many people. I wish you could hear so many of the phone calls we have a chance to listen to. But what we're going to do right now, I want to share a little bit about what we went over last week and some of the steps, and then we're going to talk to Christine a little bit about her experience so far and what she's accomplished. And then for those who are watching, I'm going to give you some new material. And for those who have been Cellercising for a while, who want something a little more intense, so they can start getting a little faster results if you're at that level, I'm going to share with you some of those ideas too. So one of the things we went through last week was understanding why the cells need oxygen. They need oxygen to burn calories, utilize nutrients, increase metabolic processes. And so a technique that I designed several years ago is to help open up the bronchial tubes in the lungs. It's a literal exercise. And I'll cut off my head. Oh, this is great. Okay. It's done by standing on the Cellerciser, flat-footed, hands in front of your face, standing straight up, breathing in, coming down, breathing out. And it has a pumping action that goes like this. It goes... And it not only does that, it also opens up your voice. So if you like to sing, if you're a radio announcer, you want to be able to use your larynx a little bit better, that's going to open up the vocal cords. It's going to increase oxygen to the lower 1/3 of the lungs that most people don't get enough oxygen to. And the movement up and down pump the lymphatic system all throughout the chest cavity, as well as increasing that oxygen into the bloodstream so that the cells can work at a better level to help metabolic processes and to burn calories and weight. Okay, from there we talked about how to use the big muscles of the body and how to strengthen the knees, because they're going to be the supporting muscle and ligaments that we need to have in good health and good condition so that we can utilize the biggest muscles of the body. And that's done by simply keeping your back straight, bending at the knee, and doing the Jamba walk, just like this. And that's going to strengthen the thighs and the knees. So having a bar to hold on to helps you keep your weight centered over your feet instead of leaning forward, which takes the weight off the thigh. Okay, we always start or begin with the gentle baby bounce. This is a warm-up call, a wake-up call. This is the movement that massages all the cell tissue throughout your entire body, increases flexibility, increases oxygen blood flow to the brain, opens up capillaries, challenges balance, equilibrium, metabolism, and a great deal more. It activates the lymphatic system. So it's this movement we always start with. After we've done this, we can work on the hips, the thighs, by rocking side to side. The hips drop into the mat. That's warming up the hips. It's warming up the knees. It's very gentle. And then we're doing the precursor, the Jamba walk, and then we're going to get to the point where we do the Jamba Run. So I'm going to share a little bit more with you in just a few minutes, but I'd like to invite Christine up. So Christine, you can tell us how your first week went, what you experienced, and how you feel.
Okay, so my first week was quite interesting. I normally don't feel good most of the time. I would say my pain level's at about a 5 most of the time because I have fibromyalgia. But I truly have to say, I look forward to getting up. I never look forward to getting up. I never look forward to going to the gym because I always come home in so much more pain. This was literally the first time I exercised, felt like I exercised my entire body in 5 minutes, because that's about all I could give it, and I wasn't dying. I actually looked forward to getting up the next morning, and the next morning, and the next morning, and I actually have had more energy than I've ever had in a long time. Getting through the day has been easier. I'm usually at about, noon, I'm thinking in my head, when do I get to go home and go to bed? That's been my life. And it's not going to be that way anymore.
That's right.
So I'm excited. It's getting better.
Thank you, Christy. We talked a little bit about visualizing, communicating with the body, seeing yourself not as you are, but as you can become, and holding on to that vision. And while you're Cellercising, holding on to that vision as well, because the subconscious mind in the body responds to what we say, what we think, how we act, how we feel, what we do. So we want to communicate the vision of what we want to accomplish and hold on to that vision so our desire grows and increases. All right, so For those who want to get a little more aggressive and burn the calories, I always suggest kicking your shoes off because it allows the foot to move to support your natural balance, not the balance of the shoe. There's other reasons for that. But standing on the Cellerciser, gently moving up and down, rocking side to side, warming up, getting ready for the Jamba Run. Okay, now the Jamba Run, most of us develop a love-hate relationship with it. We love it because it works. We hate it because it's tough. It's the most intense aerobic activity I've ever experienced on the Cellerciser. Now you can run fast, and that's great. That's good for aerobics. And running this or this speed, I generally go about that speed. I count to about 120. And that's great, but that's not nearly as exhausting as doing the Jamba Run. Because these muscles will burn up fuel quickly. So, that's the Jamba Walk. Jamba Run is done just like this. Your feet barely come up off the mat. You do that for 20 seconds, 30 seconds, get to the point where you do it a minute. The movement is so intense, it can grow capillaries in the thighs, which has helped women, and they've written me how they've gotten rid of their cellulite in as little as 2 and 3 weeks. It's intense. You do repetitions of it. When you're done with the first set, we stand there lifting the heels up and down. It works the calf muscle. The calf muscle is that pumps, and the pumping action of the Cellerciser increases more oxygen and circulation back to the thighs, priming them for your next Jamba set. So you get to the point when you're ready, and you do it again. Now, it's extremely intense. Wonderful exercise. The body's going to burn up the glucose, sugars, the most readily available energy source first. When you've depleted that, and you're doing the Jamba Run, these muscles need a lot of fuel. And so they start burning off the stored fuel, what we call the white adipose tissue or the fat. So this is excellent. Improving digestion elimination, real important. This is the second most important activity I teach everybody to do. The first is simply this here. Virtually everybody can do that. And if you can't, you can call me. There's other approaches. The second is most important activity I teach is this. Because it takes the colon and the intestine and it stimulates and massages them. It's like putting the colon and the intestines through a little washing machine every day. It takes the liver, kidney, spleen, gallbladder, pancreas, and the adrenals, as well as the bladder, and gently massages. So the gentle movement up and down and the gentle twisting I teach is really, really helpful. Most people, when they start doing that program, 2 to 3 weeks, they tell me they feel like a whole different person. Well, that's because the body parts and functions are working more efficiently. It's also a great way to loosen up the lower back. Okay, can we see if there's any questions that somebody might have?
Yeah, let's see.
That I
Are
can
there
answer?
any questions that anybody would like to ask? I apologize sneaking in front.
Thank you, Christine. If there's any questions, I'd be happy to answer
Let
them.
me see what we've got going on.
And again, for those who have a hard time sleeping at night, if you get on the Cellerciser, we do the same thing with the baby. Put our fingertips straight down and gently move up and down. When you feel the pressure at the tips of your finger, relax your shoulders, back, and buttocks. Just gently relax.
Okay.
See how that feels, and then go back to sleep. Don't go do something else. Go directly to bed. It's a great thing. It's a good way to relax the body so you don't have to toss and turn to get rid of the stress and tension.
Okay, so we have a question here from Catherine Palmer that says, can you talk about getting taller? I would like to lengthen my spine.
Years ago, my wife was measuring the kids. And I said, well, why don't you measure me too? And just for fun. And so she's a little shorter than I am, not much, but a little bit. And she's measuring me, and she said, 5'11 and a half. I said, you're off an inch, but that's okay. And I just kind of dismissed it. Then I saw my father several months later, and the first thing out of his mouth was, wow, you look taller. And he looked shorter. And I'm like, Well, I've since been measured by 3 doctors and 1 attorney. And I'm actually 5'11" and a quarter. So that's 3/4 of an inch taller than I'd ever been in my entire adult life. The doctors call it imbibition, or a big part of it, is imbibing the disc with synovial fluid. That's something most people don't even know how to do. It involves movement and increased circulation. When the disc between the vertebral joints, when they lose natural circulation, which they do when we're about 18, 19 years old, unless we're doing movement to increase circulation to those discs, the disc, like a sponge without water, can start to shrink. As it shrinks, we get more pressure on the nerves and less flexibility in the back. So some of the techniques that I teach on the Cellercise, the Ultimate Exercise video, involve taking the elbow, sticking it up over your head, tilting a little bit to the left. As you tilt to the left, it opens up the vertebral joints and stretches the muscle. So as we do that, now we want to increase circulation. So the moment we feel stress or tension, just stop, hold the position, and gently bounce. Then we take the other side and do the same thing. And this is the beginning of a group of techniques that I taught and I teach on the video that are designed to open up the back, increase circulation to the disc. I've had more than one person write me about how they've actually increased their height since they Cellercise. One gentleman who had always been 6'2" had shrunk an inch. Got on the Cellerciser, wrote me, says, hey, I'm back to 6'2" again. So we know the body has an incredible capacity to improve its health and fitness when we know how to work with it. And so those are some of the techniques that you see a dog when they get on the ground and they roll, and animals just kind of roll on the back and they wiggle around. It helps them with their back and their flexibility. And so we do things like this on the Cellerciser, which may look a little strange, but hey, I don't care. If it keeps you younger and healthier, more flexible, it's well worth it. But you build up, you graduate. We don't know how much space we have between the vertebral joints when we begin, so you want to start off very easy. And as I always mention, feel free to consult with your doctor or health practitioner before you begin any exercise program, or have them feel free to give me a call, and we can develop a program that's best suited for you.
Okay, we do have a few more.
Okay.
So somebody was, when you were doing the Jamba Run, the question came right after it, is this low impact on the neck?
Very, very. In fact, there's no jarring effect. If you tried it on the ground, you'd shatter your back or your neck. It's the jarring effect. It would shatter the nervous system. It's too much impact. But on a Cellerciser, the impact is being absorbed by the spring. You can't do that on the ground. Football players try, and football players are in great shape. They're muscular and strong, and that's great. But they cheat, because they spread the feet apart a little bit, they bend at the knee, and if you try that, you'll feel how much the thighs are working. And then they lean forward, which takes the weight off of the thigh. Then they get up on the balls of their feet, and they run real quick next to the ground, which doesn't feel very good. On the Cellerciser, we don't have to cheat. We can keep our back straight, which keeps the weight on the thighs. And then, keeping in this position, we can run like this, which is much more intense than if we lean forward and do that. So we want to keep our back straight, because it makes these muscles work harder.
Okay,
Yes, Chrissy.
what is the best to stimulate lymph in the neck?
Lymph in the neck. Okay, this movement that I showed you earlier with the pumping action, that activates the lymph system all throughout the chest cavity area and throughout the entire body, but it focuses more here. So when you're breathing in and out and you're moving up and down like this, you can see the actual collarbones and the shoulders moving up and down as well. And that pumping action creates pressure. And pressure is needed for the lymphatic system to circulate. We're not jumping high, we're not just floating in the air. That doesn't have a lot to do with the Cellercising. You're close to the mat. So your cells are pumping every time I move up and down. There's pressure. And that pumping up and down activates the lymph nodes and the lymph glands and the lymphatic system, which holds a negative pressure. Moving up and down causes suction. So within a few minutes of cellercising, you have millions of one-way valves that are sucking collectively together through the entire body. It's a vacuum system for the body. It's opening up the circulation and pulling that fluid in between the tissue spaces of the body, between the bones and the joints. So this technique is very effective. When you wake up in the morning, if you have any puffiness around the eyes, this movement here, within 3 to 5 minutes, mine's all gone. It's just because I'm pulling the circulation. I'm getting everything moving again. People that have a cold or an allergy, they'll get on the Cellerciser and move up and down. The pumping action opens up, it clears the head. They may have a runny nose, but it helps to clear the sinuses and the congestion.
How about plantar fasciitis?
Plantar fasciitis, that's really becoming a problem in our society today. We wear shoes. Shoes are very restrictive in how our foot can move. And then we go out and we do something strenuous where we are demanding more out of our foot than it's able to give us. And so we end up tearing tissue underneath our arch, or literally we end up with plantar fasciitis or other foot problems. The jarring effect is too severe. The foot is too rigid. That's one of the reasons I say for most people it's always best not to wear shoes on a Cellerciser. Because as you move up and down, your feet want to move to support your natural alignment. When you wear a shoe, it's restricted to the flexibility of the shoe. And so by going barefoot, there are things that we can do starting off, rocking side to side. That's easy, gentle on the foot. As we become stronger, as it becomes more flexible, we can lift our heels up and down. Now we're working underneath the arches. We're pumping with the calf muscle, but we're also helping to strengthen the arches in the foot itself. So we can promote circulation, which helps to reduce inflammation and over time promote the healing process. Now the bones and the muscles, the ligaments in the foot, it's very common for them to start to move to support your natural alignment. And so you may notice little kinks that come and go. Well, the body's repositioning itself. You're moving up and down equally on both the right and left hemisphere of your entire skeletal muscular system. So if hips are out of alignment a little bit, which is very common, but you're moving up and down equally, the hips can start to move. Muscles can start to stretch. The body can start to find this natural alignment. Not to mention all the other benefits with the fascia.
Okay, they said they can't quite hear you. I'm going to bring you in a little
closer.
Sorry. Hang on.
And I'll try to project a little bit more.
Okay, so this one was my back and shoulders the next morning. Is this normal?
Yeah, Cellercise is very good at exposing weaknesses. It won't cause them, but it exposes them. It's too gentle. But if you have a weakness or a condition, the Cellerciser it's intense enough that it can expose them. There are several movements that I teach that are designed to open up the shoulders and open up the back. One of them that is not on the DVD right now is to take and you put your arm underneath the elbow and just kind of basically give yourself a bear hug. And you squeeze yourself to open up the scapula area and the shoulders. You bounce for a few moments this way. Start off gently. This is very effective, but it's also, if you have a nerve that's close to a particular area of distress, you don't want to irritate it. And then you cup it under this side and do the same thing. And gently bounce for a few moments. And longer than I am, but you just gently do that. That opens it up. And then you're going to move your elbows back as if you're trying to touch them together. And you do this, and then eventually you do this again, and eventually you start to do things like this. But don't start off that way, because you can irritate and cause. But again, even if you do, Cellercise is very forgiving. If you irritate a nerve, the muscles want to tense up to protect it. It can take a couple days for that swelling to go down. I would still personally get on the Cellerciser and do gentle movements. Another very, very good one for the shoulders is this simple one right here, up and down. And then I show additional movements, again, on the DVD that are designed to open up the shoulder area as well.
Would that be the same thing for the ankles if they tend to hurt from time to time while cellercising?
Yeah, exactly. If we have weak ankles, lifting up and down on the feet is going to start to strengthen the whole front part of the ankle and the feet. If you stand on one side, rocking side to side is another one that's very good to help with the muscles and ligaments around the ankle. And then eventually jumping side to side. As you're jumping side to side, you're working the hips, the thighs, the knees, as well as your ankles. So that, I've broken both my ankles. The right ankle, I broke, I had to pin it back together, and it was broken in several places. And I was told I'd never be able to pole vault or do some of the crazy things that I enjoyed doing. And that was probably true until I began cellercising. And then several years ago I slipped on the ice and I broke my left ankle in 2 places. And I started cellercising. I had to work on all the muscles and the ligaments and the tendons. The moment it was broken, within a week I was standing there with my foot over the side, moving up and down, because doctors know bones and muscles heal faster and grow stronger when exposed to some stress. That's the idea behind the walking cast. Well, the movement up and down pumps circulation, which helps promote the whole healing process and the building up of the bone density. In fact, it healed so quickly. For someone my age, the doctors became my customers. They understood. Just great story. Christine, any others?
Okay, how can I work under my chin?
Okay, that's a good one. All right, our 15, 20-pound head. If we're cellercising like this and we want to create leverage to focus on different areas of the body, all we need to do is alter the angle of our body. I don't lift weights. I'm not a bodybuilder, but the muscles they're strong all over my body because I've learned how to manipulate the body in a natural way. I don't tear it down to build it up. I simply take the weakest of cells and I make them stronger, so it's a lot easier on the body. But if I jog and I tilt, now every time I come down there's a lot more weight on the abdominal area. If I take my 15, 20-pound head and I tilt it backwards, now every time I come down, all the muscles underneath the neck and chin are all tightening to hold my head up. And all I'm doing is jogging. And that helps to tighten that area. Now, if you have loose skin, it's going to be very marginal as to helping to tighten the skin. Collagen, however, if you have collagen in it, it's a protein fiber also. And the collagen can firm and help tighten and tone all throughout the face and the neck as well.
Okay, we're going to answer one more, and then we'll make sure that everybody gets answered online, okay?
All right.
So this one is, what about rebounding at night? Does it create too much energy for sleep?
Not for me. It actually does just the opposite. It helps me relax because I always end up with the baby bounce or the health bounce. So, but one thing it does do, I believe, is it increases metabolism. When you run at night and you do your cellercising program at night, your metabolism is going to be a little higher, no question. But if you want to sleep, what I do is the same thing parents do with a baby. You just, when you end up and you're done, relax your body. Relax everything. Your shoulders, your hips, your buttocks, just thighs, whatever. Just become like a rag doll. And it's like a massage. It's really very comfortable. And do that for a few minutes. And then just go directly to bed. I often, in fact I will tonight, since I got up this morning and I only got to do a part of my routine, I'll do the rest of my routine this evening. And as long as I do my gentle moving up and down, I'm fine. Now if it doesn't work for you, and if you are too much awake, then you may want to just start off with just the gentle movement until your body can relax more.
Okay, is there something you'd like to add to my routine?
Tell me, yes, okay. So what we're going to do, tell me how are your knees feeling?
Great, actually. They're a lot stronger than they were. They used to hurt all the time when I exercised before.
All right.
This doesn't bother them at all. So I'm doing pretty good.
All right.
Okay.
Very good. Okay, Christine, so we're going to start, you're going to do several repetitions still of the Jamba walk whenever you can. But we're going to kick the metabolism up a little bit. As long as your knees feel comfortable doing it, we're going to start to just do a little bit faster, where your feet really don't even come up off the mat.
Okay, so just a little faster.
Just a little faster. See if you can do that for 20 seconds.
Okay.
And when you're done, then stand there, lift the heels up and down, and when you're ready, you do it again. Eventually we'll get to this point, but we're just going to pick it up just a little bit. Make sure we're doing the gentle movements here, and the breathing in and out, and that's...
So just instead of the walk, if I can make it faster, let's make it faster this time. So continue to do the breathing, maybe do the gentle twist with it, okay? And then do the Jamba walk as fast as I can.
Do that.
And as many reps as I'm comfortable with, or, and then always in with the baby bounce.
And always in with the baby bounce, that's right. Okay, good, all right.
I can do that.
Thank you, Christine.
All righty.
Okay, thanks for everybody who was here. Please feel free to share what Cellercise can do for them. People that have knee problems, hip problems, back problems, shoulder problems, digestion, elimination issues, weight loss issues, stress issues, sugar level issues. Encourage them to take a look at what we have to share with them on the Cellercise level. You have a greater health potential. We all do. Our objective is to help you reach it. Why work out when you can play in?